Hey everybody, Miranda Pitrone back with you to do another mandala stone. This is another one created from the Happy Dotting Company's mold with plaster, and I just painted it with a matte black from Decoart. And I'm just gonna get my supplies ready here and we will start creating. I think for this one, I'm gonna do some golden sunshine colors, just needing some sun here in cloudy Ohio. And I think also we'll go with mostly dotting tools, I think, for today. That'll be easier to prep ahead of time. And a lot of you already have the nail dotting styluses, so we'll go with that for today. Alright, so one of the lovely things about this mold is that it already gives you your center dot marked. So you don't have to measure, which these are about 4 inches across in diameter, but you don't have to measure with the mold here because it's already marked for you. So I think I'm going to start off with using the Decoart Extreme Sheen Gold for our center here. And I'm just going to go with the largest nail dotting tool that I have, which is about 3 millimeters. And I'm going to want a dot bigger than that for my center, so I'll show you here. I'm just going to push it around a little bit. Start with placing it in the center, but then just kind of push it around out to the edges to make your circle, to make the dot larger. And you can go even bigger. If you want to go even larger, you can put more paint down. And this Extreme Sheen does have a little bit of, I want to say tackiness, so it's a little sticky, so be sure when you pull your tool up all the way that the string, there's no string hanging down because it will flop over and you don't want to ruin your project. Okay, so now I am going to go with some titanium white, or snow white in the Americanas. And I'm going to go and do my plus sign. We're going to make a ring of small dots around this gold here. So we're going to go above, and then down below, and then side to side at your right angles. And then I'm going to, instead of just doing one at my 45s, I'm actually going to go in with 2, just to kind of give us a different look to our mandala, starting off the rings here. There. And just kind of place them evenly around, which the plus sign helps, and then in between you just want to keep the spacing as equidistant as possible so that it keeps the symmetry of your design. Okay, I think I'm going to do kind of a yellow gradient. So the next one, I'm going to mix some Sunny Day in with some of the titanium white just to kind of get a lighter shade of yellow here. And that's going to go on the next round out. And I'm just using the smallest dotting tool that I have here, which I call my etcher. I broke the ball end off of a stylus trying to bend it, and it actually has become quite a useful tool. I can sketch onto the background of something to draw lines or a design, and it just goes away with water. No messy eraser marks for pencils, no chalk, no nothing. I just, also, because I use a brush on varnish, it goes away, the lines go away once I start brushing on a varnish too. So I just find it easier. But it's also the smallest dotting tool that I have, so. And I have had a lot of people ask how to bend these, and I actually have a video in my video lists here. Just search how to bend dotting tools, or I actually sell them now in my Etsy shop, so you can get them there if you don't want to try bending your own. I'll show you here. This is the etcher. See, I can just draw on and then wipe it off. Alright, so since that was the sunny day mixed with the white, I'm now going to go with the sunny day. A little bit larger dotting tool. It's the other end of the stylus I was using with the etcher. And it does have a little bit more pickup to it because of the angle. So it picks up a little bit more paint. So it helps kind of give them that 3D effect for their a little plumper dot. All right. So I'm just going to work my way through the colors that I have here to do that kind of ombre gradient from light to dark with the yellows. Alright, so the next color I have is a primary yellow, and it's just a little too dark. It's almost, got a little more orange in it, so I'm mixing it with a sunny day just so we can have the gradient transition go a little smoother. And I'm actually going to use a little bit larger dotting tool on this one, just to kind of upgrade it a little more. And yep, this one's bent too. The larger ends I have gotten to bend on some of these. So this also, I feel, just helps me be able to see better when I'm painting. It's easier for placing the dots, especially if I'm doing a video. But I find it just easier to be more confident about where I'm placing things if I can see, rather than just a vertical tip down. Okay, now after looking at these colors a little bit, I think that the primary and the cadmium just have a little too much of that orangey look. I don't really want that for this. I want this to be more of a bright and shiny piece. So I'm going to switch over now to Lemon Zest, which is one of the multi-surface paints, and it's a nice super bright yellow. I want to get a good amount on here because I kind of want to do a bigger dot out here to the edge. And then we're going to start changing up the design a little bit and adding a little more to it. I'm actually putting so much paint down that I might even have to refill my well here. Let me see. Let's see if we can make it. I have enough for one more here. Just barely. Definitely brighter like I wanted. That's what I'm going for here. Nice sunshine. Okay, so while the center's pretty much dry, I can go in now to just kind of add in the similar colors in between each ring. So this first one, we used, what did we use? The Sunny Day. Oh no, the Sunny Day mixed with white. And then I'm just going to dot in between these little ones, and I just want to double check to make sure I can fit them all the way around with my spacing. And just put a little one in between each of those just to kind of eat up that black space behind it, because I want this to be nice and bright and shiny. And you can see too, today I had tons of coffee, so I do paint two-handed sometimes. You just steady yourself with the other hand, or do like a tripod here. Just make sure you don't stick your hand in the paint, which I have done before too. And then I think I can squeeze some in between the whites as well with a little more white. And then out to the Sunny Day. And then you can see it kind of starts to fill in the design nicely there. Okay, and then our Sunny Day and primary yellow is going to get a little shot in between there. Another thing too with the bent or angled tools, because they pick up more paint, I don't have to dip it back and forth as often either, which is kind of why I like using the brushes. Alright, I think I am going to grab some of that gold again, that extreme sheen, and at the edge of every single one of, oh, see, I didn't wait for my string to pop off. I'm not used to using this one. So I can just fix that here. Just grab a paintbrush and just kind of scoop it up. And actually it looks like I got it quick enough I don't have to repaint it black, but you could scoop the whole dot off and repaint it black if you had too much of a string there, but thankfully I didn't have to do that. So I need to remind myself to slow down and let that string drop off. A little bit bigger. Okay, so now I'm just debating if I want to carry that in or if I want to do white in between those. I think I want to do white. So I'm going to take some little dots of white and see how many I can fit down to. I probably might be able to fit 3 from the gold. Maybe just 2. And we won't cram them in there because I don't want it to look too crowded. So we'll just do 2 and a little bit larger. There we go. Alright, so keeping with the nice shiny, of course, I'm going to grab some metallics. And I think I'm going to start doing a couple straight swipes down into the larger yellow dot. And we'll see what we can create with that. So this is the Venetian gold. And I'm just using one of the smaller dotting tools because I kind of want to do smaller swipe design, and we're not going to go on an angle or anything. I'm just going to drag them straight in to the yellow dot. Alright, let's see here. And I'm going to be doing it from the opposite side of the stone. And these are about, I don't know, half an inch long. You can also take a smaller end if you want a littler tail like this. You can put your dot with a larger one, and then, which is actually, I think I'm going to go with that look instead, which means I'm going to get rid of this one. But that's the fun of testing it out, changing it up. I won't make you watch me fix the mistake, but all I'm going to do is scrape off the paint and paint black over it and let it dry. Redo it. Alright, so while that little guy dries, we're going to work our way around and do the other ones. So what I decided is I want a thinner tail. So I'm dipping it with one of the smaller dotting tools. I put my dot about a half an inch out, and then I'm using the smallest etcher size. So you could use a pin, a sharpened pencil, just something like that, just to give it a different little look there. About a half an inch out. Just grab the bottom and drag it down. So this technically is, not technically, but is definitely more of a true dot drag. And you can do this too if you mess them up, just turn them all into drags. If you mess up a dot or something and you don't have a background, you can always just drag them out. Or if you get the flap over like we had earlier. If its paint is a little thicker and it leaves a string. It's the fun of art. It's gonna morph into something else if you just do something you didn't intend on doing, but sometimes it turns into something fun. Make a whole new design element from it. I've done that in the past with some things that I didn't anticipate were going to happen. It just kind of turned it into, I meant to do that. Yeah, see, I stuck my finger in that one too. I didn't mean to do that. Still a little black there. That's one of the difficulties too with working across your stone like this. So you run the risk of getting in the wet ones on the other side. I love this Venetian gold. It's so much fun to work with. It really is just a great metallic. Good gravy. All right. So now I'm back around to where the first mistake was. And I can just see that the paint, the black is dry. It dries up pretty quickly on this, on the plaster. This is another benefit of this. There. I just want to take a minute and look at that and make sure that's what I want to do with this. Okay, I'm going to go back to our sunny day with the white in it. Pardon me. And then, let's see. I think I want this to kind of look like a sunshine now that we're doing it. I'm going to go a little just above the Venetian that we did and pull it down in just above. And I'm using one of the smaller dotting tools here. I'm just going to drag it in like that. Just above. And the more you get in a rhythm with doing these, the easier they become. A lot of people are intimidated by the swipes or whatever, but just keep on practicing. You can practice on cardstock or something else if you don't want to ruin a stone that you've made, or a canvas you can paint over after, I guess, but it just takes a little bit of practice. And especially even on this one, there's so many now that we've gotten around, you get used to it and get into kind of a rhythm. Somebody commented today, they were talking about how they love the Zen rhythm of dot to paint, dot to paint, dot to paint. So I had never really thought about it that way, that you do, you get into like a rhythm. I'll listen to certain types of music when I dot, and you get into going to the beat or just moving with a certain rhythm, and it's just really an enjoyable pastime, I think. Some time to create. A little bit of art therapy to relax. There, yeah, that's more what I was looking for. Cool. So now we'll brighten it even more. I think I'm gonna go with some tiny white ones on the side to just kind of fill in that space. So also too, you want to double check your spacing. So I'm gonna go small, but I want to make sure I can fit little ones in between each of these here with the white. Just kind of gauge around your entire piece for your spacing. I'm just gonna drag it in from the side here. Just about the same height as the Venetian gold, and then follow it down at a little bit more of an angle. The lighter yellow here we did straight in, but this one I'm going a little bit more of an angle in. And just give it a little bit of an arch. I have a little bit too much on there, so I'm just going to let off a little bit on my palette. And like I said, the more you do it, you'll kind of be able to gauge how much you actually need on your tool. That one's too much too. Let's see, I can just drop it off and share it. And I got a little bit too much here too, but so I can drop it off in the palette or just kind of give it to either side here. That one I just kind of messed up a little on the tail. I'm just going to redo it here. There, our nice sunshiny flower. Alright, I know I got in here and thought I was just going to stick with golds and yellows, but I feel like I need something a little purpley, maybe berry. Maybe berry. Do a berry metallic. Yeah, I need something. I don't know. So I go through this in my head. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go for this. Because what do we get to lose? I could do it different next time, right? And just do the sun. But I'm going to go with the berry metallic. And a larger dot at the end of those yellow lines. End out here. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so using the larger end of a tool and the berry, I'm going to put some big old dots out here. And the thing about the dotting tools too is you can, I think I might have said this earlier, is just push the paint around to make the dot bigger. When you get out to the edges, just be careful that you don't let it run down the stone. So when you use your tool, I'll push it in the camera view here better, you go around in a circle and then just let up at the top of the dot, and that'll kind of help drag the paint towards the top and give you a little time to babysit them if you need to go back and scrape the paint forward again. But I do use a lot, and that's how you get that kind of 3D look. Just the amount of paint too that you're putting on. Also, too, you can kind of take it and blow up the bottom. And just kind of push it up a little. And it'll start to form that dry skin barrier. Alright, so these were quite a bit of paint in the dots, so I am going to actually pause my video for a second, just so you know, and I'm going to babysit them, make sure they don't drip, and make sure the edges get dry a little bit, so. Alright, so while I am looking at this, I am thinking I want to carry the berry in a little bit, so I'm just going to steal some here, and just give them a little added into down below where we did our little angled swipes in here. See how it kind of brings the color in, so you're kind of just blending the design in together more. Okay, I think I'm going to do a ring of the Venetian gold around our berry here. Just using a small dotting tool to get the little dots. And the Venetian was what we used on these droplets here. Dot drag droplets. And to just get that graduated size at the end, you just let the paint run off your tool. And they will get smaller and smaller. I don't know if I've ever painted something with the Venetian gold and this berry together, but I really am liking the combination of these two. Now sometimes you have colors that you gravitate towards more than others. I do tend to have a mild obsession with the metallics, but I honestly don't think that I have used these two together. But that might happen more in the future. Do you guys have colors that you use more of than others? I'm sure you do. I really like the ocean themes too. Once we get into summer, I get kind of addicted to doing the... Alright, sorry about that. My camera kicked off on me for some reason. So I was putting Venetian gold around the berry dots that we had here. And just doing a small ring of small dots around. Alright, there we go. The Venetian gold around. Alright, I don't want to go too bright just yet. I'm going to work my way to the outer edge and make the light colors again, but I think I'm going to do spicy mustard now around the Venetian gold. Just got to shake it up here. And that is the spicy mustard. So we'll go around the Venetian gold that we just did. So this is more of a toned down yellow as opposed to the brighter ones. So it's kind of a good transition from that Venetian gold being a little darker gold, I guess. A little more brown in it. That's what I'm looking for. I have too much on there. I'm going to drop it off over here. Looks like I dripped a little bit here, so I'm just gonna steal a little black and touch it up there. Just to tuck it back under and hide it. And just work your last way around here. That was a good choice. That mustard goes really well for the transition. So now I'm going to go with that lemon zest again. The nice bright multi-surface one. We're just gonna do this all the way around. We did the spicy mustard just before it. multi-surface paints are a little bit thicker, so I don't worry too much about them staying in place when I put a little bit more on the angle, on the dome size. You know, as the slope of your stone comes down here, you don't have to worry quite as much, but they also work really well on mugs and wine glasses because they don't run like that. So how many of you are counting the dots? When I first started dotting again, I used to do pointillism when I was younger, but when I first started mandala dotting, I counted all the time. I counted the dots. Or hold your breath as you're painting the small ones. Now I just like the rhythm, just the beat of going around doing the dots, but I don't count them as often anymore because I don't want to get caught up in the fact that some of them are not the same amount as the others. It's definitely a lesson for me in patience and just accepting the fact that it's not going to be perfect. One side might have 10, and my other side might have 12 or 11. One dot might be slightly larger than the other. And it's okay to just let that go and just enjoy the time painting and enjoy the piece you come out with, the colors. I realized I was focusing on the wrong things as I was doing it. Just for me, anyway. I'm sure other people have their own reasons and their own wonderful rhythm. Go away, little buggy, it's winter. There we go. Okay, I think I'm going to do one more of that extreme sheen in between our designs here at the top. Remind myself it has a string. I'm just going to hold it up a little here for you to see and for me to see, but also so I can just make sure the dots don't drip down here. And I'm using the second to largest tool that I have. It's about 2 millimeters. Oh, and I just shot it again here. Let's do this first. Paintbrush. Just kind of scoop it up in there. the outside ones. And I'm gonna go a little bit larger than what we used for the yellow. This one's a little bit thinner. I thinned it out a little bit, so I'm just going to drop some off over there and put some here. I hope you enjoyed dotting this design. If you are looking for more of my other art, you can find it. I am on Instagram and Facebook. And we can interact a little more on there because you guys can post pictures to me, or if you are looking to get these videos first before anyone else, I take subscribers through Patreon, and I'll post the link in here. Also, I love to hear your comments, feedback, constructive criticism, things you would change, things you would like to keep, maybe ideas for future videos that you want to see, or questions you have on technique or tips. I like to get everyone involved here in this little art community, so feel free to comment. And also feel free to share these with other people who you know want to create too. Feel free to practice the designs. Dotting takes time to learn, but some people just excel really quick. Others take their time and learn different techniques. So we all have different pace, a different technique. We're all using different tools, but we're all in this together, right? And it's really an enjoyable time to be able to have time creating. All right, so I'm just finishing up the last here of those white dots. I really appreciate you all sticking it out till the end here. And we have our fun finished design. So I hope you find this helpful. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you all in the art